Hi, I'm Quasita, and I'm here at Seeds of Excellence Christian Academy, and I'm here with Ed Connect, and I'm excited. Today, we're going to be talking about some amazing topics, and one of the most amazing topics we're going to talk about is how to build great relationships with your child's teacher. Stay tuned and stay Ed Connected.
All right, y'all. So we are back from lunch. Hopefully that you all enjoyed the great food. Let's get into the second half of our time together. Really, we're about to wrap up, and we're going to talk a little bit about effective communication tips. So before we go into what's happening on the screen here, I just would love to hear are there any challenges that you've had with trying to connect uh, and communicate with your school or your children's teachers? While you're thinking, I can give an example. Again, transitioning from daycare, where for me at least, my child was in a home based daycare where it felt like I had direct access to the teachers. There were three teachers, right? And so we would do check-ins every single day when I picked my son up from school. Hey, this is what happened today. Even when he was younger and he was getting potty trained, he did great doing potty training, or maybe he had an accident or whatever. Just like that communication was just face to face and direct. Now that he's at a bigger school, I still have a great relationship with his teacher, but things I have to rely on other things like Class Dojo, right? I have to make appointments. It's just not as direct, and so that was a little bit of a transition. Yeah, so that's but at the same time, his teacher is very responsive, right? So she doesn't take all day to respond. She is very responsive, even though I have to go through technology. Oh, even though I have to go through technology instead of like a face to face a lot of times. So, uh, what comes up for y'all? Actually, that. Okay. I think there's been a shift with even some parent meetings are virtual. Yep. Versus the face to face. And just really, I find it sometimes challenging when the teacher or the administrators don't really understand. Yeah. Sometimes, um, even though they've been in education for some time, I've noticed that I'm like, well, my child's a little bit different. Yeah. Maybe this could have been because maybe she might be shy. Those type of things. So I think sometimes it's like being able to advocate for my child. Exactly. And understanding my child, how best to communicate. Yeah. It's definitely been something area of growth, even working in education. Yes. 100%. I mean, I can totally relate to that. Even being a teacher, it's like some of the things that I would ask of parents, I'm kind of rethinking now that I'm on the other side. Like, woo, this is a little bit tough. It takes a little bit of a transition. Again, we've said this over and over. Like, the transition is not just for the student, but the transition is for the parent as well, and just being mindful of that. So, one way to promote positive, relationships or positive communication is by building relationships, right? Regularly attending parent teacher meetings, for example, is really important. If there's, popcorn with the principal, or, muffins and moms and all the little stuff that happens at school, like show up to those things as much as you can. Another thing that can support you in building positive relationships is, thanking the teacher for what they have done. Teaching is hard work. It's hard work. And one thing that is often said is like people say that teachers don't reach out to parents unless there's a problem, but oftentimes parents don't reach out to teachers unless there's a problem. And so that thing really goes both ways. Showing that appreciation. And there's simple ways to do that. Like I know for me, Teacher Appreciation Week, I try to figure out when the teacher's birthday is, holidays. I try to do a little something. It's not, you don't have to break the bank, but sending a card, sending a thank you note, sending a small, a $5 gift card to Starbucks. These things help to build, those relationships. Volunteering in the classroom when you can. These things. Seeing if the teacher needs anything. Does the class need more tissue? Does the class need more Kleenex or whatever you can. It doesn't always have to cost money, but it should be just, you can't make a withdrawal from the bank unless you put a deposit in first, right? And that's true about your relationships with your teacher. You can't expect to withdraw something
from the relationship if you haven't made an investment in the relationship. That's really important for communication. The next thing is like asking specific questions as it relates to academic progress, their behavior, and any other concerns. So for example, I know that, we're working on the sight words, at and off this week. How is my son doing? How many times has he been able to read those effectively? How many times has he struggled? What's happening in the classroom this week? How can I support at home? We can be proactive about that. How is he doing or she doing in terms of relationships? Does he or she have friends? Are they listening and following the rules? Just being very specific of what you know about your child to ask those questions of your teacher. And then the most important thing is to be proactive, meaning addressing issues early and maintaining that open line of communication. One thing that I always say is like offense or like being offended at a teacher, getting upset at a teacher or vice versa is going to shut the relationship down. And you don't want that to happen. So even if there's something going on, you have a question, you have a concern, don't hold that thing. Communicate respectfully in the same way that you would want to be communicated to, but say what's on your mind. Otherwise, there could be a buildup that could ultimately impact the child. And that's what this relationship is for. Your relationship with the teacher is so that y'all can be excellent collaborators to promote the well-being of your child. Even the most challenging parent-teacher relationships, my experience is everyone cares for the child, and we just got to keep that front and center. So anything comes to mind on maybe best practices for building relationships, maybe great questions that you've asked, or how you've been proactive with your children's teachers?